Hello dear UPSC aspirants, I am Akriti Kanchi and I am your mentor from Prep IAS. I am trying to make your newspaper reading effective and fast, and today we have a lot of news. We have very few news, but they are very important from prelims point of view. They say there are since Women's Day is tomorrow, a lot of schemes for women, and government has launched this 𝐴𝐼 tool that you are supposed to know about, which we will cover in today's newspaper. So let's start with today's newspaper. On the front page, okay, so many of Trump's priorities work for India, as 𝐿𝐿, our Minister of External Affairs, has said. This comes under GS paper 2, India, USA, bilateral relations, and also, the effects of policies or politics of developed country like USA affecting India's interests, okay. So he's saying right now Trump's behavior is quite, he just announced reciprocal tariffs on us yesterday. So people are questioning, that how it will fare for India. But overall, 𝐿𝐿 is, our Minister of External Affairs, is quite positive. He's saying the US administration interest in multipolarity, technology and connectivity is promising. He also welcomes initiative that will keep energy prices affordable. So you all know our Donald Trump's, his mantra, what is it? Drill, baby, drill. Okay, that means a lot more energy, keep drilling more and more oil. Okay, so that is going to make energy prices affordable. So because now US is shifting from West oriented, the Europe oriented vision to more Pacific oriented vision like Quad. His preference is moving toward Quad. So US had been thought of as a bloc with the West since 1945. Since 1945, its image was more as a bloc rather than as a nation. But now US is now working more as a nation rather than a collective nation of West. Okay, that is a new thing that S. Jaishankar has pointed out. And in recent, joint statement of Trump and Narendra Modi, India, Middle East, Europe corridor was also mentioned in the India-US joint statement of our Prime Minister and US President. Let's move to the next article. So we come to, one small article which is talking about ecotourism. So after, revocation of Article 370, and, so J&K tourism has become too big and too enormous, okay. So a lot of tourists are going. So, but that is what is leading to a lot of illegal construction also, okay, one of the negatives, okay. So they are now trying to promote ecotourism, and they're trying to create more centers of tourism, not just Gulmarg, Sonmarg and Pahalgam, but they're wanting to create more hotspots so that tourism does not concentrate on one city, which will put a lot of pressure on the ecology of that area, right? So J&K government to promote Bangus Valley near line of control for ecotourism, okay. They announced a new set of rules for Bangus, a far-off tourist spot near the LOC. So it will be quite interesting for tourists also, that they are just beside the Pakistan. Okay, so what was the issue? In ecotourism, they are trying to create basic recreation facilities, rain shelter, public conveniences, signages, lightings, etc. Okay, so they are creating these new centers. The new ones are Gurez, Machil, Kiran and Bangu. These are new additions to Jammu Kashmir's tourist spots. Okay, so what was happening? Because of record number of tourists, uncontrolled construction in the favorite tourist places were posing a threat to the environment, right? So that's why they're promoting ecotourism. You can write it in the GS paper 3 economy tourism area. Let's move to the next article on editorial. So tomorrow is International Women's Day, right? So the articles are talking about significance of women. Women are important part of our syllabus. It is asked in essay several times. It is mentioned in GS paper 1. It is also there in GS paper 2. Okay, and it is indirectly, not explicitly mentioned, but implicitly in GS paper 3 also. In economy, women's presence will improve the India's economic, status. Right, so women in corporate leadership, the lived reality. So here we can categorize it under GS paper 1, role of women in corporates. Okay, so recently in USA with this Trump's era, a new second Trump's era, so they have rolled back diversity, equity and inclusion programs. So the recent instance of rolling back diversity, equity and inclusion, that is DEI programs in the United States federal government encourages private sector to end DEI preference hirings, which can bring challenges for women hirings. Okay, so since in India a lot of women are working in multinational companies who hail from USA, so the change in policies in US will affect Indian women also. Okay, so Indian women have been historically marginalized from the workforce and comprise about 35% of the worker population ratio normally. Okay, but in the top sector, that is senior and middle management, women account for even lesser, that is only 12% leadership roles. So in the top senior and middle management, they're only 12%, which is really poor. Okay, so that needs to be increased. So government has brought several things. In 2014, the Companies Act. So if the question comes, what are the government's efforts to increase women's participation in workplaces and corporates? So you can mention this. In 2014, the Companies Act 2013 mandated that at least one woman director should be placed on the board of certain class of public limited companies. And in 2015, the SEBI mandated that at least one independent woman director be appointed to the board of India's top 1,000 listed companies. So government's policies also bring positive changes. So that lead to inclusion of women directors on the board of NSE 500 listed companies, which increased from 5% in 2011 to 18% in 2023. Okay, so government policies do have some effects, and research says that women's role in the senior and middle management, in leadership and in corporates have a lot of positive effects, because women have great way of making relationships, things, and provide informational diversity and different educational and distinct social and professional network they bring to the table. There are several positives that women bring. So when companies have more women in senior management and leadership roles, they begin to appear on list of the most admired and ethical companies. Okay, so this is very good. Best companies to work for and best corporate citizens. So women do bring some a good image branding of companies. Okay, so this is what this article is trying to say. So you can mention this few points in any question regarding corporate and workplaces for women. Okay, let's move to the next article. This article is extremely important for UPSC point of view. Beyond Beijing, unlocking a feminist future in India. So in this article, a lot of schemes are mentioned that government of India has tried to fulfill the goals of this Beijing declaration. This comes under GS paper 2, welfare schemes for vulnerable section like women. So this Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action is one of the most comprehensive global blueprints for advancing women's rights. So this question was asked in 2015 prelims, okay, where it was mentioned the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action is related to which of the areas? 1, 2, 3, 4. I did not know it at that point of time, but later on I came to know it is about women empowerment. Simple, but one should have known, okay. So Beijing meeting 1995 it happened, and it brought 12 critical areas of concern, where like poverty reduction, education, training, health, violence against women, and women's economic empowerment were the areas that they wanted to work upon. So government has brought certain good number of schemes. For example, for maternal health care, government has brought, you should know these schemes. These schemes can be asked in prelims and should be listed in mains if such kind of question comes. Generally, I have seen when students write answer for women, they generally stick to Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and one or two more, maternity benefit act. These 2-3 schemes are just able to mention. So you should know the variety of schemes for different areas of women empowerment. Okay, so this for maternal health care, Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan, Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, these two has increased institutional deliveries to 95%. Now, yesterday also we read, JP Nadda was appreciating that India has achieved maternal mortality rate. It has reduced to 97 or 100 deaths per 1 lakh, births between 2014 and 2020. Great feat. Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana has also provided women critical medical treatment. In education, again, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao initiative has improved the child sex ratio. For education, you can also mention National Education Policy 2020, which has paved for higher retention rates and giving opportunities for women in the STEM region. What is STEM region? Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, because these are the future of studies, research and development, education, high-level decision-making jobs come from this area. right? So these kind of education is more important for women that our national education policy has tried to bring. UNICEF has also tried to bring some sanitation related improvement for girls, adolescent girls going to schools. National rural and urban livelihood missions have provided 100 million women some good self-help groups and financial networks they have provided. Unified UPI is India's the best achievement, which has revolutionized financial transactions with women increasingly using digital platforms. Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission has also done his work. Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta Abhiyan. Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Saksharta Abhiyan has trained over 35 million rural women in digital literacy, which is very important for today's day and world. If you're producing anything, if you're creating any manufacturing, any products, you should know how to sell it. For that, today e-commerce platform and all is very important, right? The share of the gender budget has also been increased to 8.8% in this year, which is the highest ever. Now, Beijing Declaration called for ending violence against women. Now, this is the area we still need to work upon, though government has brought one-stop center. So, when the violence for women, what is the government initiative in this area? 771 stop center has provided essential medical, legal and psychological support. Also, Bharat Nyaya Sahita 2023 was created in December 2023. It has also strengthened legal protections and improves women's safety and justice. Okay, and very good example, a blockchain-based system in Odisha ensures that survivors receive swift, confidential, and coordinated support. Very good example. Okay, you can write this blockchain-based system of Odisha, which is trying to give good support to survivors. And United Nations Population Fund and Rajasthan Police Academy are trying to create gender responsive police which is sensitive to women. Okay, gender advancement for transforming institutions project promotes women in STEM and in startup also. Okay, so we also know Stand Up India, which promoted scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and women to go and stand and start their own companies, right? The Women's Reservation Bill, which guarantees 33% legislative representation, which has built on local governance success of 73rd and 74th Amendment Act, right? So 30th anniversary of this Beijing Declaration, which can still be asked in your prelims, okay? So these are schemes, these are things related to women which you should know. Let's move to the next article. So nothing here. Okay, in previous article, I want to show you the face of two birds, okay? Why I want you to show you the face of these birds? Because these birds can surely be mentioned in your prelims, and when you read the name of the word, the image, the picture of the word should come, okay? So this bird with thicker beak is pelican, okay? And this painted white and black painted is painted stalks, okay? So you should know which bird is what, and you can tell the difference between them. So it will be easier for you to use the common sense while answering and eliminating the options in the prelims. Okay, let's move to the next article. This case, we should just know what has happened. A girl of Nepal who was studying engineering in KIT of Bhubaneswar, KIT Institute, Kaling Institute of Technology in Bhubaneswar, committed suicide in her room because she was being mistreated by a male student, and she had complained about it, but nobody took action. So there was a protest by Nepali students. So this was an issue with India Nepal, which you should know. But this article is not of much significance for us. Let's move to the next article. Okay, so there is a quiz on International Women's Day. Okay, which you should know, and I want you to further dig into the stories of this women and use in your essay writing. Okay, so this International Women's Day, which is celebrated, this event was started by a massive women-led protest on 1970 in Petrograd, Russia. Petrograd, that is St. Petersburg, previous name, and eventually led to the abdication of Tsar. This date was later commemorated as International Women's Day. You should know how International Women's Day came into being, the origin of International Women's Day, right? What is this event called? So it was related to Russian Revolution. Okay, so you should know the origin of International Women's Day. The next question, very important for women, very important for UPSC. Okay, the Indian social reformer and educationist co-founded the first school for girls in Pune, along with her husband, working tirelessly for women's education. Who was she? She was famous Savitribai Phule, and her husband was Jyotiba Phule. Very important figures in India's freedom struggle, and social reformers. Very important. Next article, on this day in 1979, this West Asian country saw tens of thousands of women protest against newly imposed compulsory wheeling laws. So in Iran, this was done. Okay. Now this again is a very important question for us. This pioneering scientist born in Poland became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and is the only person to win Nobel Prize in two different areas, in two different fields. She is none other than Marie Curie. Marie Curie won the Nobel Prize for Physics with her husband in 1901. And then she won another Nobel Prize in 1911 alone in chemistry. And that is feat achieved by none other than Marie Curie. Dig into her story and start using it in your answers in a more detailed manner, right? The last article, this person, a Kenyan environmentalist and women's rights, not last article, the last question of the quiz. This person, a Kenyan environmentalist and women's rights activist, became the first African woman to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. She was the founder of the Green Belt movement, which focused on tree planting conservation and women's empowerment. Who is she? Her name is Wangari Maathai. So we have seen that women not only work for, they are very much involved in nature also. See, she was involved in the Green Belt movement. So here also in India, we know about the Chipko movement and Vishnoi women who work for the nature and the species and the biodiversity species. So women have this nurturing, nurturing the nature and that empathetic nature, which is very good, right? Let's go to the next article. Nothing here. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, now this Maharashtra to start media monitoring center to identify misleading reports. So any news can be sold today by even having wrong information. So Maharashtra has brought as a part of e-governance in a move to monitor and analyze news across print, electronic and digital platform. Maharashtra government has approved the establishment of state-of-the-art media monitoring center. Right? The proposed center will systematically collect and evaluate news content, identifying both factual and misleading reports, and then generate comprehensive factual analysis and issue real-time clarification cases of inaccurate or negative coverage. So, if, for example, if a false news is, getting viral, so there will be corrections right there, which is very good for our, today's very volatile environment of society. Let's move to the next article. Government launches 𝐴𝐼-𝐞𝐲. Now, this is new repository of data to build models and tools, the AI models and tools. GS1, indigenization of AI technology. We are trying to build AI technology, like US is leading there. China has brought a great cheap competition, which is DeepSeek, and we are trying to achieve something like that. So Union government launched 𝐴𝐼-𝐞𝐲, a platform with data sets that is being touted as a home for non-personal data. Please, note that. It can come in prelims. So personal, non-personal, it can get you wrong. So this is a data set touted as a home, India, for a non-personal data that will assist with developing AI models and tools, okay? The India AI Datasets platform is one of the 7 pillars. So there is India AI mission of India, which is a flagship mission for AI, which has 7 pillars. One of the pillars is Datasets platform, okay? This India AI mission is an important mission, which has an outlay of 10,000 crore. Another pillar of this India AI mission is compute capacity pillar, where startups and academia would be able to use pooled access to graphics processing unit, GPUs. So 14,000 GPUs have been commissioned for shared access, and more of it will be added on quarterly basis. Okay, an update on the government supported effort to create a homegrown foundational AI model. This is what we are trying to do, a homegrown foundational AI model, an aim that has gained urgency following the success of DeepSeek, the Chinese company that was able to train at a fraction of the cost at which OpenAI and Google has done, right? So that is something we have to learn from China, right, which we are trying to. So the government's open governance data platform currently has 12,000 data sets. They have also designated chief data officers. So now you know how much data is important. People say data is the new oil, not just for any reason, but nowadays data is very important. So chief data officers across ministry and departments are designated to encourage them to provide data sets that can be used by researchers, companies to create such AI tools. So they are trying to involve everyone. Let's move to the last article of the day. On science, okay, so it is about harnessing gut microbiome to halt vitiligo. Vitiligo is a skin disease. This comes under science and tech, GS paper 3, science and tech, and its effect in everyday life, right? So the role of gut friendly bacteria in the process of repigmentation, particularly in persons with vitiligo. So what is vitiligo? You might have seen people with white patches on their faces. So it is a chronic autoimmune disorder where the body's defense system begins to attack the pigment producing cells. So we have this colors and pigments. So the body's defense system starts to attack it, which leads to depigmentation and white patches come. So it's not just cosmetic, it also psychological, stigmatizing for people who are suffering through it, right? They have it, especially if they have it on face or arms, because people can see and they kind of do some discrimination against it, right? So they are trying to show that a natural compound derived from gut friendly bacteria significantly slows down the progression of vitiligo and may restore pigmentation. Some data of India is written. India has reported 0.25% to 4% of dermatology, but the highest cases in Gujarat and Rajasthan, around 8.8%. Okay, vitiligo affects 0.5 to 2% of the global population and is linked to other issues including higher risk of cardiovascular diseases, psychological distress, and endocrine disorders. That's it for 7th March. Thank you.